Hey there. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's a beautiful day here, although overcast a little bit, and definitely we're into the fall. Can't quite tell if my lighting is good today or not. Anyways, my name is Rita Hickman. I'm a body mind expert and shiatsu massage therapist. And what I do is I help women who are narcissistic and toxic relationships really find their way out. If you're in a narcissistic relationship, it's actually it's a sign around you that says that it's time to make a change, that it's time for you to evolve, it's time for you to become that greater version of yourself, the version that you're meant to be. And things, challenges like attracting a narcissist or being in a relationship with a narcissist, and how incredibly difficult that can be, um, is actually the catalyst for you to make a change. And so I'm thrilled that you're here, because even just watching these, even for a few minutes or a few seconds, it's that recognition or the realization that you're ready to shift into a new way of living your life. It just is. And so today we're talking about pity versus love for a narcissist. So there was a beautiful woman who traveled around the US, and one of the places she stopped was my space, and she stayed there for about a week. And she was a woman from Canada who had gone and studied over in the monasteries in Tibet, I think, and then came back to kind of share what she'd been learning, what lessons and what wisdoms she had to teach. And this one I had to sit with for a while. Uh, but when I started to really look at the bigger and bigger circles around it, the bigger picture about it, this is what came up. So the message she had to bring was, if you're not going to help someone, if you're not going to actually intervene, let's say if you're in a parking lot watching someone hurt their child, and if you're not going to help them get out of that situation, if you're not going to go into their life, see what's going on, make them an acquaintance, help them get support, be a little bit of support for them. This is what she said. She said, then it's none of your business. This is for them to deal with. This is their lesson. These are their issues to work with, at least on a spiritual plane. On physical plane, I question that. There are many different ways to help people, and it doesn't always necessarily mean that we work directly in their life. Maybe we work indirectly in other ways. But this brings up the really good point of pity versus love. And it's the same sort of thing when you look at your narcissist. The person who is in your life that you fell in love with, or that you care about, or is at your workplace, or that you have a close relationship with, that person is clearly struggling with something. Clearly, they're struggling with some mental health disorder or physical disorder or disconnect or trauma. Clearly, they are in the middle of something, because this is not how people who are brought up in a healthy, safe environment, nurturing and loving, this is not how they turn out. This is not your fault. People do not magically just become this. They're sort of shaped this way. So if you're going to look at the situation and look at the narcissist and stay in the place of feeling sorry for them, but deciding that it's really, this is their issue, this is their thing that they need to learn, and you're going to go on your merry way, um, that's pity. That's feeling sorry for somebody. That's saying, you know what, I wish you luck. And it's not bad. It's not bad to decide that you need to do what's best for you. It's not bad to decide that this is not the place you want to be. This is not the experience you want to be having. And so pity um, is powerful, because it helps us have some detachment. It gives us a little bit of breathing space around us, so that we can make better decisions. So if you're in a relationship with a narcissist and you feel sorry for them, if you pity them, that's kind of your cue that you might want to move on. You might want to really start making plans and coming up with problem solving and solutions, so that you can move on to the next stage of your life. But if your relationship is different, if you love them and they're a narcissist that continues to behave in manipulative, controlling, angry, irrational sorts of ways, it might be helpful to realize that they are struggling with something. And if you can start to, because they're clearly trapped in it, because if they could do something different, they would. Because who really wants to live a life where you're constantly pushing away the only people who care about you because of irrational, volatile um, mood swings or issues that you're struggling with or challenges? Um, Nobody really wants to be alone. Nobody really wants to be isolated. But if you're struggling with something, this might be the only way that you know how. You may be the more rational, sane, balanced one in the relationship. And you might want to start digging deeper and being like, what could this be? What could cause this? One of the most common causes, let's say, of someone who is more narcissistic is typically an underlying chemical imbalance like ADD, ADHD, bipolar, something along those lines, overlaid with uh, trauma, with PTSD of some sort. Usually, when the two come together, it creates something called either complex PTSD or someone who is borderline personality. And those issues, combined, kind of grab people by the throat, and then they continue to work in the same patterns because at the end of the day they feel helpless and out of control of themselves because they don't know how to manage what's going on. Now when you love someone, when you really love them, you don't have to stay with them, you don't have to live with them, you don't have to be married to them, you don't have to have any of those connections, but that love helps you look deeper. It helps you look at what might really be going on. And it helps you start to investigate. It helps you start to sort it out. And then you can look at the person with, aha, this is what you're struggling with. How can I help you? How can we help one another? Even if they're not ready for it yet. You can help people in ways that aren't confrontational, in ways that aren't cruel. You can help them start to get what they need in order to feel balanced, without feeling like you have to turn it into a fight. Or you can help create a safe space for others by having strong boundaries. The most compassionate people in the world are the ones who have good boundaries. Because if you're being victimized, there's no way that you can truly care about anybody else because you're in a place of fight or flight all the time. And so a narcissist is typically right on that edge of fight or flight almost all the time. It's just the way that it is. And so when we start to embrace that, when we start to look deeper and say, you know what, I love this person. How can I help them? What is necessary? And love isn't always fuzzy wuzzy, gentle, compassionate, flexible, I'm a doormat, codependent love. Love can be, I have boundaries and I want to make this relationship work. And so we're going to move in this direction. And this is the way it's going to go. And if you don't want to move in this direction, that's okay. But this is where I'm going. So love is something that's deeper. It's something deeper than your emotional reaction. It's seeing someone in their wholeness and loving them enough to truly want to help them. Whereas pity many times is feeling sorry for somebody and, kind of doing half a try, or maybe coming from your own deep wounds and really, really needing to protect yourself first because you're not ready to love someone because maybe you don't have good enough boundaries or you don't have good enough stress management skills or enough information. So you get to decide. There's a whole spectrum, but there is a difference. Pity tends to be you look at someone, you feel sorry for them, and then you sort of detach. You don't say, wow, that's going to be really hard. Whereas love is, how can I help? How can I help this person that I love be the best version of themselves that they can be? So when we start looking at people in our life through the lens of love, then things start to change because now our relationships get better because the people that we love who really do love us are now starting to get what they need. They're now starting to get the things that they never got because nobody ever knew to give it to them and they couldn't give it to themselves or explain it. So there's a difference. And when you start noticing that difference and kind of looking at where you're at, where you want to be, how much engagement you want to have, that's when things start to move because now you are taking action of some sort. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling anxious, scared, stressed, constant fight or flight, if you're walking on eggshells, if you've got PTSD, if you struggle with your own emotional management because of having a narcissist in your life, if you're more codependent or empathic or a healer, reach out. We've got a wonderful group of women that I work with, and they're just the whole spectrum of where they're at on the path, and it's just so beautiful. So let me know, and we'll get it all sorted out, or share this with somebody that you think needs it. Because with the stress that we have in our culture anymore, um, narcissistic tendencies are really starting to take control. And if we care anything about ourselves and our families and our communities and our world, then we have to start seeing and dealing with the mental health issues that are underlying a lot of it. Okay. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'm a little sixes and sevens today. It's a little slow start. And yeah, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye. Ah. There we go. Ooh, not yet. Trying. Almost. There we go. Gotta move it up. Perfect. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.